Okay, my second example, I'm going to do this example here. I believe this is a special one that I will not have to insert a 0x here. Let's just go for it and see how it goes. I'm going to write it on that second page. I ran out of room. So let's just see how things unfold. So example number 2, the divisor is x squared minus 16. The dividend is x cubed minus 4x squared. I may have to add in a 0x and a constant. I may not. We'll see. Okay, so let's do the steps over on the side. Step 1 is to divide. Remember, you're going to divide the first term of the dividend by the first term of the divisor. So I'm going to divide x cubed by x squared. X cubed divided by x squared. Subtract the exponents. 3 minus 2 is 1. So x to the first power is what I get when I divide. I put that above its like term, and I don't have a like term there, so I can go ahead and put in a 0x. So I will have a like term, so I'll put x here. So I did need to insert that there, and that's okay. I can do it later rather than sooner, since I had to the third power and to the second power. Now I'm going to multiply. That's step 2. I'm going to multiply this answer that I just got, this answer of x. I'm going to multiply it by the divisor, x squared minus 16. I can see something that's going to happen. When I distribute, I get x cubed and I get negative 16x. Now remember, before I said to put these under their like terms. It's no big deal, but I may have to skip one of these terms over here. So I'm going to put x cubed under x cubed, and I'm going to put negative 16x under its like term 0x. And then I'm going to subtract. So look how strange that looks. I've got like a hole here, but that's okay. It's perfectly fine. We'll still subtract each term. What's x cubed minus x cubed? Well, that cancels out. What's negative 4x squared minus nothing? Well, negative 4x squared. And what's 0x minus negative 16x? Well, that would be plus 16x. 0 subtract negative 16x would be 0 plus positive 16x. And then start over again. Divide. So I'm going to divide my new first term of my divisor, that negative 4x squared. I'm going to divide it by x squared. Negative 4 divided by 1 is negative 4. X squared divided by x squared, those cancel out. So negative 4 is what I get. And notice I don't have a constant over here, so I am going to put plus 0. I can bring that down also, since I didn't have anything to bring down the last time. And I'll put minus 4 above that plus 0. So I'll put minus 4. And now I'm going to multiply. I'm going to take that answer of negative 4 that I just got and multiply it by the divisor. Apologize for my hand being in the way. So now I'm going to multiply negative 4 times x squared. That's negative 4x squared. Negative 4 times negative 16 is positive 64. And I'm going to put these under their like terms. So negative 4x squared plus 64, and I'm subtracting. Okay, so negative 4x squared minus negative 4x squared, that cancels out. 16x minus nothing is 16x. And then 0 subtract 64 is negative 64. Now, I know I'm finished for two reasons. First of all, I don't have anything else I can bring down, so that's done. Second of all, x to the first power is smaller than x to the second. So if I went over here and tried to divide, my x would be in the denominator, and you can't have that as a quotient when you're putting answers up here as your real quotient to this polynomial, this dividend being divided by this divisor. So when you end up with a variable whose degree is smaller than the divisor's degree, then you know you're finished. This is my remainder. Now, I don't know if this would yield a positive or a negative number, so I'm going to always put a plus sign when I have a polynomial as a remainder. So I'm going to put a plus sign and put a fraction bar. Remember, you put your remainder in the numerator, and then you put your divisor in the denominator. And that is my quotient. And I could check that one the same way that I checked the last one. I apologize for running over that x minus 4. Let me erase, fix that. I could multiply x minus 4 times x squared minus 16 and then add 16x minus 64 to it, and I promise we would get x cubed minus 4x squared. So that's my quotient for example number 2. Next, I'll do example number 3, and I definitely do want to check this one first to make sure that every variable is represented in the dividend. And remember, this first one is my dividend. I have x to the third, x to the second, x to the first, and no x. So this dividend is perfect for me to divide this divisor by. So let me get my piece of paper and write down that problem. I am dividing 4x plus 1 into 4x cubed plus 13x squared plus 27x plus 6. So there's my new problem I'm doing. I'm going to show my steps over here. I'm going to divide first. Remember, you divide your first term of your dividend by your first term of your divisor. So 4x cubed divided by 4x. 4 divided by 4 is 1. I don't really need to put a 1. And x cubed divided by x, 3 minus 1 is x to the second power. I take that answer and put it above its like term. Its like term is x squared. And step 2 is to multiply. You multiply the answer that we just got. So you bring that down. So you multiply x squared by 4x plus 1. X squared times 4x is 4x to the third power. X squared times 1 is x squared. Then step 2 and step 3 is always done over here with your problem. Step 2 is to write your like terms under their like terms. So write 4x cubed under its like term of the dividend and x squared under its like term, and then subtract those from their like terms. So 4x cubed minus 4x cubed, if you've done it correctly, that will always go away. 13x squared minus 1x squared is 12x squared. So that's step 3. Step 4, bring down the next term. So bring down plus 27x and start all over again. Go over on your right and divide. Remember, you are dividing the first term, your new first term of your dividend, by the first term of your divisor. So 12x squared, it kind of looks like my 12 disappeared by 1, but 12x squared divided by 4x. 12 divided by 4 is 3. X squared divided by x is x to the first power. That's a positive 3x. I put it above its like term. Then I multiply. I multiply the answer that I just got. I'll highlight that again. I multiply the answer of 3x by the divisor. So I'm going to multiply 3x times 4x. That's 12x squared. I'm going to multiply 3x times 1, and that is 3x. So I'm going to put these answers, here's step 3, put these answers under their like term of the new dividend. 12x squared plus 3x. Subtract those values from your dividend. 12x squared minus 12x squared goes away. 27x minus 3x is 24x. And then bring down, step 4 is bring down the next one. I know after this round I'm finished because I don't have anything else to bring down. You really have to be neat when you do these. If not, you're going to get lost in your work. So if you're like me and sometimes you write really fast and get a little messy, you're going to have to slow down a little bit and try to be neat. So I'm going to divide the first term of my new dividend by the first term of my divisor. So 24x divided by 4x. That's what I'm doing now. Okay, so 24x divided by 4x. 24 divided by 4 is 6. And x divided by x, that cancels out. So it's positive 6. That's what goes there. I'm going to put plus 6 up top. So you take this answer that you got and put it above its like term. I put a plus sign because that was a positive 6. Step 2, and my final time of doing step 2, I'm going to multiply. I'll write that out in just a second. I'm going to bring down the answer that I just got of 6, and I'm going to multiply it by the divisor of 4x plus 1. When I multiply, I'll get 24x plus 6. You put these answers, 24x plus 6, under their like term. Subtract, this was step 3. Subtract 24x minus 24x is 0. 6 minus 6 is 0. So there's no remainder. It has a perfect quotient of x squared plus 3x plus 6. We'll go on to the next example, number 4, the last one for today.